Here we go, The Last Jedi, the slayer of dreams, the destroyer of hopes, the reckoning of all Star Wars fans until they release Episode 10, The Rise of the Return of the Revenge of Jar Jar Binks. Now, I know. Where has this video been? Film Ron, you should have released this video months ago. I know. I've been lazy. My videos have not been doing so well, so I decided to take a break and focus my efforts on my longest video to date, which, by the way, you should go watch if you haven't already. Also, I wanted to upgrade to a better microphone for improved audio quality. If you've seen my previous videos, let me know if this is an improvement. And this, dear viewer, is why you never give deadlines unless money is involved.
Where are they?
And now, our feature presentation.
But anyway, let's talk about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and why I believe it's one of the best Star Wars movies in recent memory.
That's nonsense!
Yeah, this video is kinda not clickbait, maybe. Okay, it is, a little bit. The Last Jedi was released in 2017 and directed by Rian Johnson. For some reason, they seemingly gave him the keys to the castle and pretty much allowed him to do whatever he wants with the direction of the sequel series. I mean, why? It's now confirmed that Jar Jar Abrams had no plan whatsoever when he created The Force Awakens. I guess that sort of thing worked with the original trilogy, but this is an established franchise here. You gotta know what you're doing. You have to have a game plan. Come on, JJ, what happened to that mystery box you were on about?
I mean, look at like Star Wars. You got the droids, they meet the mysterious woman. Who's that? We don't know. Mystery box, you know. Then you meet Luke Skywalker, he gets the droid, you see the holographic image, you learn, oh, it's a message, she wants to,
Was it actually a shipment of dildos? Is that why you won't show us what's inside? Anyone notice how short Rian Johnson is? Oh, holy shit. We're the same height. So, anyway, The Force Awakens came out, got pretty decent reviews, though some people were still skeptical. Rogue One came out after that, and yeah, this movie is amazing. I'd say most people were on board with the new direction Disney was taking Star Wars. I did not grow up with Star Wars. Instead, I was more familiar with Mark Hamill as the voice actor in Avatar, and I guess Joker in Batman. Because of this, my entire life wasn't tied to seeing him back in his glory days one final time. But still, the end of The Force Awakens had me wanting to see what'll happen next with him. I was pretty excited to see him whoop ass in this movie, but I wasn't going to lose my life if that didn't happen. Let's talk about the plot. But before we do, we are going to play Spin the Wheel of Death Sticks. The rules are easy. Choose a Jedi, and if the wheel lands on your choice, you will be sent to live out the rest of your life on Exegol, trying to find the reason why the Resistance used cavalry in The Rise of Skywalker. If the wheel did not land on your chosen Jedi, then you must subscribe to Filmron Reviews, where you will get awesome sci-fi content uploaded straight into your YouTube feed. Got your Jedi? Let's spin. And we have Obi-Wan. If you chose Ahsoka, shame on you. She isn't a Jedi, and now you have to subscribe to my channel. Oh yeah, spoilers. The plot. This movie takes place not long after The Force Awakens, with an evacuation being ordered at the Resistance base. The First Order is coming and has caught them with their pants down.
We've caught them in the middle of their evacuation.
Poe tries to buy time for an escape and destroy one of the First Order dreadnoughts to deal a crippling blow to the enemy. This scene of him flying and taking out their guns is really nice. However, it took too many casualties and the fleet lost all their bombers afterwards. Snoke finds out and calls Hux. Hux knows he's in trouble and wants to save face in front of his subordinates. I enjoy Hux in this movie. He's that bumbling underling that somehow got power and command over thousands of people. This scene feels like Snoke is Hux's parent, giving him, a grown man, a spanking in front of his boys. And that's hilarious. We cut to Finn, finally about to do something.
All right, yeah!
The Last Jedi is honestly the peak of Finn before his character gets massacred in The Rise of Skywalker. It's all downhill from here. Next we get to see what happened with Force Jesus at the end of Force Awakens. Luke Skywalker has become a defeated old man living in exile. People forget Obi-Wan and Yoda pretty much did this exact same thing in the original trilogy, so this isn't out of character in my opinion. I think Luke following in the footsteps of his old masters is a subtle thing that goes over the heads of most viewers. If Luke continued to be the all-powerful space wizard his stands believe him to be, there would be no conflict. He's just one guy, he can't do it all, even if he is a really strong Jedi. How could any possible threat arise when someone that powerful is out and about stopping evil, wherever it starts? Also, Luke isn't and never has been the infallible hero some see him as. He is inherently good, yes, but he wasn't raised from near birth to be a completely logical machine detached from emotions, like most of the Jedi before him. He has flaws, and some people don't get that. We then get to see Snoke in the flesh for the first time, and boy does he not disappoint. Despite being a CGI character, he has a powerful presence. Sold by having Kylo Ren whipped and probably crying inside his helmet before being ordered to
Take that ridiculous thing off.
Snoke makes a really solid point that bugs me to this day. Him getting beaten by Force Jesus, who has
Never held a lightsaber.
He is understandably disappointed at him for not coming close to measuring up to Vader. Adam Driver has good acting here. I can sense how emasculated he feels by being called a child that's inferior to Vader, knowing how badly he wants to be him. After that, we get insight into Luke's reasons for wanting the Jedi to end. And I completely agree with him, as does Yoda later on in the movie. The Jedi's legacy is failure,
Are you all right?
Yes.
and their robotic ways of suppressing emotion contribute to the creation of emotionally stunted people.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
But okay, I'll agree with the majority consensus on Luke drinking milk from this thing being some original trilogy re-release level cringe.
I would never have any kind of pornographic activity with a fucking creature.
Kylo was too conflicted to kill Leia, but two other fighters blast her into space instead. Here we get to a scene a lot of people hate, Leia flying through space. I mean, I guess I can see how it's odd, but it wasn't to me the first time I saw this movie in theaters. Also, this is actually plausible. You don't die as soon as you're sucked into the vacuum of space. You have about a minute to live. Let's see. You pass out after 15 seconds and die after 90. So Leia, a space wizard, has a few seconds to get back to the ship.
I'm a little tied down right now.
Maz, what is happening?
Union dispute. You do not want to hear about it.
This Maz Kanata plot is never resolved in this trilogy. And here we make it to the most divisive character in Star Wars. Yes, even more than Jar Jar Binks. Even more than Space Jesus herself. Vice Admiral Holdo.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration.
And I totally agree. When I saw this for the first time, I rolled my eyes all the way into the back of my head and left to go watch another movie. There's the obvious question of, why is she dressed like that in a situation like this? It seems very out of place. Everyone else is wearing something you'd expect in this situation, like some sort of military uniform or something.
You're all stupid. See, they're gonna be looking for army guys.
How she treats Poe is completely stupid. She should have just told him her plan and not risk a mutiny against her leadership. And if she did, her plan might have worked, as the First Order would not have done a scan for their transports. And what is her plan? Fly slowly towards a planet and escape on pods that have light speed themselves? Why not use them to escape to some far-off planet if they are cloaked enough to do that, instead of going to this one planet to call for help, and then do some supposedly 1 in a million attack? But whatever. Finn and Rose used the pod that all of them could have used to escape to go to said random planet to find a code breaker.
It's becoming increasingly obvious. I can deny it no longer!
Canto Bight is a dumb and pointless portion of the movie. But it was slightly entertaining when I saw it the first time, so I'll give it a pass. And then the guy they get betrays them once they get caught. Skip ahead to Kylo bringing Rey to Snoke. Kylo manages to kill Snoke. I both love and hate this scene. Snoke thinks he knows Kylo's true allegiance and intentions, but doesn't see the lightsaber turning to impale him. Afterwards, Kylo says he sees who Rey's true parents are. Could it be that he saw Rey's parents were Palpatines and that's why he thinks she will turn to the dark side with him? That would make sense, but no, that's not what's meant here. That would require planning in this trilogy. And Rey should have joined Kylo. That would make things much more interesting, and make good with what we were baited with in Rise of Skywalker. What if she joined him and Finn had to take her down in the next movie? Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be an awesome source of conflict instead of reviving Palpatine out of nowhere? But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about The Last Jedi, not Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, Leia wakes up after being passed out for a while.
That one's a troublemaker. I like him.
Liar!
After Holo rams the fleet, Hux finds Kylo still in Snoke's chamber. I like that Hux is about to finish him off to consolidate his power before Kylo comes through. It makes me giggle, and I love character moments like this. I just noticed that Phasma is wearing Beskar. At least, that's what it looks like, and it should be. I looked it up, and it says it isn't, but I don't care what stuff that isn't in movies or cartoons have to say. I like the salt planet they landed on. It's an original idea for a planet, even if the speeders they use are very impractical. They are stuck on a base and face a laser ram. Okay. The end of this movie is actually really exciting, except for Finn getting his glorious death robbed from him. He was robbed of the death he deserves. This scene is what made me not like Rose. I liked Rose up until this point, and I thought she was a fun character. She should have just not done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
This movie has a few too many hype moments that I feel got robbed from me in the end. Another one is Luke facing the First Order as a projection. I mean, look at this. This looks like it's about to be top 10 anime battles. Instead, he just buys time for the others to escape. And that's the end of the movie. The characters. I like Luke in this movie, even if he's not what other people, and me to a certain extent, would have wanted to see. It had the potential to be a really good character arc for a character we are already used to, though Rian Johnson would have needed to not kill him off. Everything he says about the Jedi is really on point. There is one thing that can be seen as out of character though. Apparently Kylo killed most of Luke's students, and vanished with a handful of them. I don't agree with Luke lighting his lightsaber while contemplating if he should kill his nephew or not. I totally agree with Kylo's reaction when he sees his uncle standing over him in the night with a weapon in his hand. That's very creepy. Rey is a little better in this movie than the others. I just wish she was a more interesting character in general. I got done watching Star Wars The Clone Wars, and in there, Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order after they expel her for accusations of murder, even after they welcome her back. That's interesting. There's a moment that makes me go, ooh, the plot thickens. But as is, Rey is okay here. Like I said, it would have been much more interesting if she actually turned to the dark side. Finn should have been the main character of this trilogy, and I will think that until the day I die. If not, they should have ended him here so his integrity could stay intact. Rose was my favorite new character in this movie until her scene at the end. I didn't think Canto Bight was that bad until I actually had time to think about it. But even on rewatching, it's not as bad as everyone says it is. While I loved the scene Snoke was killed off in, I think it was a terrible decision for movies to come, since Rey doesn't join Kylo. Snoke was a solid villain. Solid design, solid voice. This ugly dude has that old-timer gangster swag. Like, Italian level. I feel like I didn't get enough of him. I didn't mind Holdo when I saw her for the first time because I thought she was obviously supposed to be a villain or double agent working for the First Order, or something like that. I hate her attitude as a good guy. She doesn't seem like she should be in second command or in charge of anything. I think Hux is my second favorite character in this trilogy. He's really entertaining and has a lot of nice small moments.
Don't get distracted. I'll go.
The action. Before I wrap up my videos on the sequel trilogy, I wanted to talk about the action in these movies, specifically the lightsaber duels. Ever since the duel on Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith, none of them have felt as compelling. Let's see. In Revenge of the Sith, we have Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on floating footstools surrounded by mechanical mining equipment, on a lava planet where one trip up means death. Now, that's what I call upping the ante from the previous installments. Now, what do we have in this trilogy? Mostly fighting in rooms or on stable ground, or in one general setting. It would be nice if they upped the ante a bit, but that's just a nitpick. The fights in this movie are serviceable, with the exception of that cock tease earlier. The conclusion. Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi has some flaws with the plot, but the movie is mostly enjoyable. Definitely the best in the sequel trilogy. It's even better if you go back in time and expect the next entry to fill in the blanks in some sort of satisfying way. Lord knows that's not what actually happened though. Maybe they should have ended it here and let this movie be the conclusion. In fact, I know exactly how to fix the sequel trilogy. There we go. I think if the sequel trilogy gets the Clone Wars treatment, it might be looked upon a little better. What's with all the Star Wars fans saying the sequel trilogy should be erased from canon? I know I joke about it, but people genuinely say these movies should be retconned, and that rubs me the wrong way. We will never have the original trio of Han, Luke, and Leia ever again without recasting. I mean, are the people that claim to be Star Wars fans really Star Wars fans or just actors? But is The Last Jedi the best Star Wars movie of all time? No. But it is up there, especially when compared to the other recent ones. And that finishes the sequel trilogy for me. Next are either the anthology films or the original trilogy. I'm not sure yet. Leave what you think about this movie in the comments. I try to read every single one of them. Most importantly, share this video. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to drink some water, stay away from certain illnesses, and have a good one.